it was a very good week in terms of dialing in the marketing plan to reach the IP segments that we identified. And the first part of the week was identifying those segments, the real, I want to say the lowest of the low-hanging fruit. And that involved looking at sites like OpenSea and there's a couple of others I looked at. But these are the big players in the NFT kind of, I won't call it IP, but they're about, man, their fees, OpenSea's fees are about $20 to $50. And and gas fees can be a real killer for them. And so, in terms of what we're looking at, we have a golden opportunity there. Not to take on OpenSea per se, because that's not the idea. It's protecting IP for a lot of the creators that go on there and other places. So of those, we identified 3, which are most likely to look at a low-cost IP protection solution that's immutable with what we have, and then come up with how do we reach them. So that was the second part of the week, is figure out how we reach them within our budget, because we don't have unlimited resources. We're not backed by a VC fund. It's all within us. And so we have to be very prudent with, how we spend our money on promotional stuff. But the good news is we found ways, we found ways of getting into that community, getting the word out, but also it's how members of our community can go into those communities and spread the word. That's kind of the step for this coming week, is how we leverage what we have as a community to go out and let people know. And the story that an analogy that I will use is that a long time ago, GD Searle, a company that was in Illinois and is still there, a pharmaceutical firm, big one, they introduced a sweetener called Equal, and it's since been subject of a lot of newspaper articles and whatnot. But when Equal was first introduced, they had every single employee go out to a restaurant, and anytime they went into a restaurant, they would always ask, instead of sweet and low, do you have Equal? And guess what? The restaurant started to stock Equal, and that's how things got going. So along the same vein, it's figuring out where members of our community can go in and essentially say, hey, have you been protecting your IP? And you should check out Raptoreum. And that's on the cards for this week, is figuring that step out. Got into another additional government IP office, which these are going to take some time, but they're all struggling right now with how they're going to integrate blockchain in. They know it's the future. They know it's coming. The problem is they haven't made up their minds yet on what they want to standardize on. There is a standardization issue with global IP and being able to cross-border issues, the real big one. So we're working on that simultaneously. So it's been a busy week. I've learned more about patents, trademarks, and copyrights and cross-border stuff along with anti-piracy in the last month than I ever thought I would in my entire lifetime. But it's all good because when I'm talking to these people, a lot of the stuff just comes out, and they're interested. It's just a question of getting them educated enough. And you have one person who's maybe very educated, knows it. As one conversation I had, and then it's, you're sending emails off to people who are not quite up to speed. So you have to judge whether or not you're going to go into too much detail. Anyway, a lot of that requires thought and requires anticipating what the reaction might be. So all in all, it's been a great week, and I'm very happy with the progress on that front. This week is going to be more of the same, except refining what we've got and doing some follow-up